Globalization. We've all heard about it and we've all come in contact with it. It's the connection of people, culture, and goods from all around the world. There are many aspects to globalization, for example, connecting different cultures, sharing new technologies, having international relations, and eating a tomato from Spain. In this video, we're going to talk about the ecological aspects of globalization. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor for this video, Skillshare. Wait, no, that's not correct. Yes, Miss Fehrenbacher. Thanks. Okay, now fasten your seatbelts and let's start the video.
Industrialization has four main impacts: air, water, soil, and habitat. The biggest problem is air pollution from smoke and the emissions from burning fossil fuels. The United States Environmental Protection Agency regulates over 80 different toxins found in industrial pollutants, from asbestos and dioxins to lead and chromium. Despite these regulations, the industry is one of the worst air pollution generators. Water pollution is also a problem in these areas, particularly in areas where factories are built near natural water sources. These toxins can come in many forms: solid, liquid, or gas, and contaminate local water resources. Landfills can also release toxins into local water sources and cause water pollution. An example is the Nile River. Soil contamination is another problem that comes with the industrialization. Lead is the most common form of soil pollution, but other heavy metals and toxic chemicals can also get into the soil and contaminate plants. Industrialization has also led to the dramatic destruction of habitat. The destruction of these habitats disrupts local ecosystems and leads to the extinction of plants and animals if they are unable to move or adapt to a new environment. After realizing the environmental impact of the Industrial Revolution, what can we do about it? There are two possible approaches that factories and lawmakers can take to reduce the effects of industrial pollution. First, industries can reduce their dependence on the product that is causing the pollution. A good example is the removal of lead from gasoline in the 1970s. Another option is to treat industrial waste to remove toxic components so that remaining waste can be safely disposed of. Doing so can help reduce pollution of the soil, air, and water, and help conserve the planet's natural resources.
The production of plastic started after the Second World War. It was revolutionary because it's light and flexible, but strong at the same time. Throughout time, plastic has been used more and more often in different areas. In medicine, for example, it is used for catheters, injections, implants, prostheses, or even glasses. Overall, you could say that plastic made medicine simpler, less painful, and more hygienic. Another area is space exploration. Here you use it for softer seats, better radiation protection, stronger lenses, and lighter spaceships in general. Plastic is also used for cars and jets. It is light, so it reduces weight, which leads to less fuel consumption, which is good for the environment. Furthermore, you can mold it into every form, so it replaces several components. That means that you don't need a lot of energy for many pieces, but only need it for one piece. Additionally, plastic can help saving lives. We use it for helmets, incubators, equipment for clean drinking water, and many other things. But plastic isn't always good. 40% of the produced plastic per year is single-use plastic. It is used for plastic bags, food wrappers, and other things. The reason why it's so bad is that it takes at least 400 years to break down. Half of the plastic ever made has been produced since 2000. In 1950, it was 2.3 million tons. In 2015, already 448 million. Scientists expect it to double by 2050. 8 million of these tons are expected to be thrown into the ocean by coastal nations. Once they're in the ocean, it's almost impossible to clean it again. The moment plastic breaks down into microplastic, it's impossible. That's the reason why so-called garbage patches exist. The biggest one worldwide is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It's made out of 1.8 trillion pieces of plastic, which equals circa 80,000 tons. It covers about 1.6 square kilometers. The solution is simple. Prevent plastic waste from entering rivers and oceans. Improve waste management systems. Recycle, reduce single-use plastic in the production of it, and enhance the designs of products. Right now, nearly 700 different species are affected by plastic. If we don't change something, and change it fast, this number will only increase.
Why are so many animals affected by plastic? Well, because plastic can't be broken down very easily, many animals are confronted with plastic. For example, they might eat it while looking for food. Sometimes the pieces are too big for them, which eventually makes them choke on plastic. That is only one of the factors that is driving the so-called biodiversity loss. But what is biodiversity loss? In easy words, it is the reduction of species and of environments in a given area. There are many influences to this phenomenon, for example, the human population growth or the increasing consumption of products made by Earth's natural resources. But the main factors are the following. First, invasive species. Those are non-native species that are changing and disrupting the environment. Second, overexploitation. This is the process of harvesting too many animals in a short amount of time. This can drive some animals to extinction because it gets harder for them to find a partner to reproduce and keep their species alive. Third, climate change and global warming. The rising levels of greenhouse gases, for example CO2, is changing the climate drastically, which is changing the environment around us and especially the environment of the animals. This leads to a last point. Fourth, habitat loss. This is the thinning and destruction of the homes of animals. This can happen because of climate change, but also because of humans. One of the processes which leads to habitat loss is called deforestation.
Forests give us clean air and water. They regulate climate, store carbon dioxide, and are home to 80% of Earth's land animals and plants. Removing trees takes away portions of the forest's roof, which blocks the sun during the day and retains heat at night. That disruption leads to more extreme temperature swings that can be harmful to plants and animals. Many consumer goods can be tracked back to a forest, such as furniture, paper, clothing, sponges, and chocolate. They are essential goods for society, and because of the rapid growth of the world's population, we're needing more and more and more of it. So now that we know that forests are very important for our planet, why do we keep destroying them? Well, there are four main reasons for deforestation: urban expansion, wildfires, extraction of resources, and agriculture. Forests are being cut down because of urban expansion, in order to build new houses or highways. Logging operations, which provide the world's wood and paper products, also fell countless trees each year, some of them acting illegally, and they also build roads to access more remote forests, which leads to further deforestation. But most deforestation is carried out to clear land for food production, which leads us to our next topic: agriculture. Innovations in farming techniques have led to an enormous increase in crop gains, depending on the farmland. This huge increase in food production was needed in order to feed a rapidly growing population. But when the human population continues to grow, the space used for food does too. Huge areas of tropical forests, for example, are getting removed so the land can be used for growing plants to feed farm animals like pigs or cows. So the chicken and bacon in our shops maybe contributes to global deforestation. Farm animals are responsible for a large part of global greenhouse gas emissions, especially methane. And if cows are held near rivers or other water sources, the combination of overgrazing and excrements can contaminate it. Speaking of water, worldwide agriculture accounts for 70% of human freshwater consumption. This leads to exploitations of river systems and subsidence of the local groundwater. However, watering has also some other negative effects. Areas drenched by it can create soil that poisons plants. It can also cause increases in water evaporation, impacting temperature and humidity. Therefore, watering can influence rainfall patterns even thousands of miles away. And many of the techniques and modifications that farmers need to increase food production are also harmful to the environment. For example, synthetic fertilizers. While the chemicals in them have helped double the rate of the food production by making the plants more resilient against nature and insects, they have also contributed to a gigantic increase in nitrogen levels throughout the environment. Rain or watering systems carry these toxins into groundwater and rivers, where they can harm the local land and aquatic ecosystem. They lead to a lack of oxygen and create dead zones in lakes or rivers where nothing can survive.
With globalization came many positive aspects. It helps building connections between people and the different cultures, enables the exchange of technologies, ideas, and information, but it also strengthens international relations. Despite all these good things, the ecological aspects of globalization are mostly negative. Industrialization, the production of plastic, and agriculture have a positive influence on humanity, but the environment is suffering from those aspects as well. Biodiversity loss and deforestation are the consequences of globalization. In general, all the aspects named before lead to climate change, which affects not only the environment, but humanity as well. In conclusion, you could say that globalization has many positive points, but also a lot of long-term negative ones.